All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our call with Luke Reynolds. Please raise your hand and I'll unmute you. We'll start with Max Ralph.
Hey Luke, how you doing this morning?
Good, how are you, Max?
I'm doing really well, appreciate it. You set a career high in targets and catches this weekend. Can you just explain what this offseason was like for you to get to that point and build that relationship with Drew to be able to do that on a Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely started. It started when I first got to campus. Obviously, all the reps during spring ball and camp, and obviously during the season are great. But um, I think we developed a bit of trust, especially during this summer off season. The whole offense was really intentional about the work that we were putting in. So, um, I wouldn't say it was anything spectacular. I mean, that was all the routes that I had caught passes on, that Drew targeted me on, is what we've been working on since the summer. So, I guess just been a good opportunity over the last year and a half or so to be able to have Drew feel like he's comfortable throwing it to me, and then for me to build that trust up with him.
Tyler Donahue.
Good morning, Luke. We appreciate your time.
Of
Um,
course.
Wanted to just kind of tap into where your mindset was Saturday when you're kind of in a groove. You're getting a lot of targets like that. You're kind of a vocal point for the offense. You probably have to go back to high school for the last experience like that. What was it like to do that at the college level in Beaver Stadium in a Penn State uniform, and how does it maybe help your confidence out moving ahead?
Yeah, definitely boost my confidence. Just being very fortunate to have a lot of those reps. And I'm just, it was just the way the game went, I guess, if you will. Nevada didn't have as many targets. Um, but it's just throughout the game plan for each week is different. So just trusting the process, trusting what Coach K's got for the offense has really just been, my focus point, and just letting everything else unfold for itself.
Daniel Gallen.
Luke, we've heard a lot about your physical development since you've gotten to Penn State with the amount of weight and muscle that you put on. Now going into your sophomore year, what does it feel like when you're out there playing? Like, do you still feel as athletic as you did in high school? And I guess what's it like trying to throw that weight around and really using it now?
Yeah, I think the strength staff, all of them, and even Leanne, our nutritionist, has done a great job getting my body right. Obviously gained some weight, but I feel more explosive. I think Coach Losey does a great job with explosiveness, and just maintaining the athleticism that he came in with. So yeah, I feel great.
Greg Pickle.
Luke, to that point, we obviously saw you a bit more of as a blocker in week one and then a pass catcher last week. But how do you describe yourself as a blocker at this point in your career?
Yeah, I think it's something that's still I'm still developing, that I'm still getting better at. Each rep is gold when it comes to that. Just because I still have some stuff to develop on in the pass catching game, but it's always been more of a fluent thing for me. So I feel good out there. It's just remembering my technique when I'm out there, and just trusting that we go against the best defense in the country. So that gives me a lot of confidence in my blocking, knowing that I've got a lot of bank reps against a lot of great D linemen that I've been going against ever since I got here.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey Luke, appreciate your time this morning. What do you think that the next level is for this offense to kind of get to strive for, and what do you think it looks like when you guys get there?
I think when we get there, we'll be one of the most explosive offenses in the country. And I think what it is just right now is just trusting the process. We obviously have some things that we prefer to have been cleaner during the first 2 weeks, but the energy is great, so everyone's buying into it, and every team's journey is different. So we'll break through, and we'll be one of the most explosive offenses in the country. I'm very confident.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey Luke, thanks for the time. We had Devontae Ross on earlier this morning, and he talked about how your competitive nature is something that stuck out to him. What do you attribute that to? Like, obviously, to get to a place like Penn State, you have to be competitive, but like as far as your upbringing goes, what kind of made you like that type of competitor?
I had I'm a middle child, so I have a younger and an older brother. So um, they definitely shaped me to who I am. We were competitive regardless of if we were playing a sport or video games, just anything around the house. Having three athletic boys always doing something just creates a lot of just unannounced competition. So I guess I've always been competitive since then. And then I guess throughout high school my recruitment was a little bit later. Not the ordinary recruitment process. So I guess I've always had a chip on my shoulder ever since then, ever since I was a young kid. And I love to win. That's just really, I'm sure everyone else does too, but there's nothing that gets me more aggravated than losing or knowing that I could have done something better. So I guess that's just where my competitive nature comes from.
Tyler Donahue.
Luke, I know back in August when we chatted, you were talking about how much pride you took in your progress as a blocker this offseason. And how have you seen that kind of come to fruition in game action through 2 weeks? And do you feel a bit more empowered at the tight end position than perhaps you felt last year as a freshman because of that work?
100%. Yeah. Coach Hal always told me if I want to be a great tight end, I got to take care of the stuff, in line and up front. And that'll, you know, be the separator for my development. So, um, obviously, just the way that my body's developed as well, just getting stronger, more explosive, is where also some of the blocking confidence comes from. But as far as like the perimeter, just knowing that, I can trust my technique and just go out there and play fast and take a shot, um, and stuff like that. And I think one thing that changed my mind about blocking too is, I'm really close with the running back group, just all the running backs. So it kind of just changed my mindset seeing, obviously Katron had a great run, but knowing that Dinkins and I's blocks, helped that play kind of just shifted my perspective and knowing that, I have to, it's my job to do it and I have to do it at a high level because if I don't, then the rest of the offense suffers. So.
Time for three more. Daniel Gallen.
Luke, we saw Rappleyea get back on the field in the opener, and we talked to him last week, and he detailed how difficult that was for him to get back to that point. What was it like watching him go through that rehab process, and then what does it mean to you and then your tight end room to have him back on the field and making plays like he did last week?
Yeah, I mean, I have an older brother that throughout high school he had some injuries as well that kept him sidelined for a while. So I had been around it since I was younger, so I knew obviously not firsthand what he was experiencing, but just from what I had seen from my older brother. So I was just blessed to be able to be there and support him throughout the way. And he attacked his rehab really intensely to work and get himself back on the field and in position. And seeing him go out there and move the way that he's moving and the confidence that he's getting back, it's awesome to see. That's one of my closest friends on the team, closest teammates on the team. So now I'm rooting for him every step of the way.
Max Ralph.
Hey Luke, you mentioned the competitiveness, excuse me, is kind of driven from, your relationship with your brothers. Could you maybe let us in a little bit on what that was like growing up? Like, was it basketball in the driveway? Was it wrestling around the house? Was it video games? Like, where do those things come from?
I mean, there's definitely a collection of things. It's kind of one of those things that, yeah, we could be playing basketball in the driveway or whatever, and the game will probably end just because of an argument or something like that. And we used to just argue about whose turn it was to play Xbox or something like that, and that would just spark something else. So I think also my older brother, he plays defensive end at Holy Cross, so he's always been someone that's been hardworking. Obviously, like I mentioned, that he had some stuff in high school that he was rehabbing and recovering and stuff like that. So he was always competitive in that regards, and I was always pushing him through his recovery and stuff like that. And he still pushes me to this day. Texts me after the game, talking about my blocking and stuff like that and stuff to critique. So just always been a competitive nature between my older brother and I and my younger brother. So yeah.
Last question. Alan Davis.
Hi, Luke. Good morning.
Morning.
What do What do you attribute the tight end success to at Penn State? I had a chance during pro day to talk to Pat Fryermuth, and we talked about the rich culture of the tight end position. Is there one contributing factor, or the multifactorial reasons why Penn State continues to recruit and thrive at the tight end position?
Yeah, I think it comes down to two things. I think the tight end room just, we hold ourselves to a high standard just because of the legacy and all the guys that came before me and before the guys that were in the tight end room now. And the second one, I would attribute it to Coach Howell. I think he does a great job, you know, showing us the way that some of the great tight ends had moved, and he makes sure that we keep that same energy, that same focus, that same mindset. And he does a great job, recruiting for not only talent and success of the team, but also he creates a room that everyone will fit together, and it really feels like a family. So um, we all want to just work as hard as we can and get better. And we're pushing each other along the way. And I think that's what propels our group.